Hello, friends, a very warm welcome, and let's pick up important themes and ideas which are going to help us in handling, imagining, and also working about the key areas with respect to the examination. Bribes for bail. Delhi Anti-Corruption Unit flag judge's involvement. High Court transfers in. तो ये क्या है? ये एक सिस्टमिक इशू है। ये वो इशू है, आपको दो तरीके से देख सकते हैं। एक टेक्नोलॉजिकल एंड द सिटीजन अवेयरनेस, इट इज हेल्पिंग टू ब्रिंग आउट दोज disgusting behavior and also those brutal exploitative behavior which must not be there, which have no scope and space in the public services. So but my question to you is that how do you think it can be solved? And why do you think it is there in spite of such a good, lucrative, and also such an honorable post? दोनों आंसर आप दीजिए. As far as the citizens are, becoming aware, and government is talking about resurgence of certain flu-like conditions and the COVID-like environment. So hospitals are asked to make ensure ventilators, BiPAP machines, oxygen concentrators. Report influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory syndrome cases in all health facilities daily on the integrated health and information platform. Ensure COVID testing of 5% influenza-like illness and 100% SARI cases. Send all positive samples for whole genome sequencing to Loknayak Hospital. Now this is a template which you can always write in the mains examination कि ऐसा होना चाहिए. चलिए आगे. तिहाड़ जेल जब कहता है कि स्लीपर्स, टूथपेस्ट, रजिस्टर्स item for daily use at in-house units to draft a proposal, it will be helping employment, it will be cutting cost, and products from inmates are not for sale. Now this is something which we can say a very very positive, a very very dynamic and a step towards rehabilitation. When we speak about Tihar jail, which is having a less capacity but more than double are there, which is actually making a situation not very very conducive. So that is why furniture which is used in Delhi government schools and Tihar basket outlet, which is selling baked item to various locations in Delhi, white shirts made by inmates are also brought by the lawyers in Delhi. So these are some of the objectives which you must continue. So unskilled worker is earning a wage of around 7,000 per month, whereas a skilled worker earns around 10,000 per month. Minimum 8% of all minutes are required to employed in one kind of job or another. So this is something which is to be appreciated from the perspective of human rights, from the perspective of skill development, from the perspective of meaningful integration into society. What more ideas can be there, you think, and just let me know. Golden Gateway for long-term growth, bulk land allotment for multimodal logistics park near Dadri, Greater Noida Development Authority. So the question is that there is requirement for such development. There is requirement for you know uh, 8% growth. तो भारत एक विकसित राष्ट्र बने, and our per capita income and GDP also rises. For that, I think these are very very important steps. Digitization of logistic processes, rail linked multimodal logistical facilities, custom clearance and freight forwarding service, trucking business facilities for the first mile and last mile connectivity are some of the examples apart from warehousing ideas. Intermodal container terminal for cargo, containerization and transportation through road, rail and air is also very very important point. No foreign students. That's what Trump says. Some relief for Harvard in Trump crackdown. University gets temporary restraining order amid deepening students' anxiety. So what do you think? This escalation is going to stop where? Just think about that, how this escalation will be ending. That is the whole point. When we move further, we can see implementation of Samagra Shiksha scheme, and it is reflecting infrastructure gaps, unspent government funds, apart from the focus upon skill education, and social audit is very very important, because advertisement for social audit to be initiated for 60% of the government schools in financial year 25-26. So this is what we say with respect to Delhi, but then we have to see all kind of government schools all over India and what kind of model it can be created. So gender parity index also reflects that there are more girls than boys in schools, and we have to see at the societal level also how the male behavior and conduct is reflecting upon the whole society. Can you suggest 2 points which will make this situation more conducive and meaningful? Madhya Pradesh, if you want to say that it is the 13th state to get metropolitan status. Two major regions identify: Indore, Ujjain, Devas, Dhar, Bhopal, Sihor, Raisen, Vidisha, Bayora. So this region whole will be, given the metropolitan status. So we must remember and we have to do, we must know what is the idea and what are the key ingredients and components of metropolitan status. How certain area, urban area can be given, the status of metropolitan status, because there are certain values, such there must be, systematic planning, there must be integrated township policy, green affair concept, these things must be there. And if we say Madhya Pradesh is emerging as a hub, Bharat Earth Movers Limited is very important, historic initiative, significant development of technology and also a public service. And Madhya Pradesh Metropolitan Area Planning and Development Act 2025. Now, this is very important. So, we have to see that how this whole planning will be implemented. And please remember the Article 243ZE of the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Committee will coordinate with infrastructure development, planning among various other kind of ideas, including coordinating with rural and urban authorities. And the functions are also given of Metropolitan Development Authority. This is very, very important for the prelims and mains. So this is what we have to see, whether it is development of satellite town, development of urban fringe areas, development of future development, industrial parks. These all ideas are reflected through this. Government of India says the first made in India chip to come from Northeast Semiconductor Plant. Very, very important development. Northeast is playing a very important and a larger role. Going to the first made in India chip from the semiconductor plant in Northeast. If I'm not wrong, it should be from Nagaon. And Northeast was called frontier region. Now it has become a front runner for growth. So it is a kind of a revolution which is coming up in the Northeast. It is a land of opportunities. And more highways are there. Trade volume between ASEAN and India is nearly 1.5 billion. That is very important point. We will never give in to the blackmail, nuclear blackmail. Jaishankar is saying to Germany. So this is India's stand, but we have to see. Germany is, is not using UPI. It is not the country which has started using UPI. We have just discussed. Maternity leave is an integrated part of reproductive rights. Very important. It is a human right, like right to health, right to privacy, right to equality, right to non-discrimination and dignity. So declining maternity leave to a Tamil Nadu government school teacher, and she was intended to benefit despite having 2 children from a previous marriage. This is a very, very important and a very progressive judgment. We have to see from this perspective that how positive ideas can only help society and country to grow in the longer run. Can you move forward, please? A judge has a judge has to be firm, should not hesitate to offend anyone. That is what Justice A.S. Oka said. Very, very important and a very life turning points are there. He was harsh only for one reason. I wanted to uphold the principles laid down by our constitution. In a message which was read out, by the Supreme Court Bar Association, the judiciary is passing through a very difficult phase. Credibility of judicial system is being questioned for many quarters. There is no point in trying to give a reply to such criticism. The only fitting answer to the criticism can be given by collective efforts of the bar and the bench. You are not becoming a judge to become popular. I have followed that advice to the hilt, and that is why so indirectly today it was said that sometimes I was very harsh. And so it is about upholding the constitutionality, about upholding constitutional morality. And everyone talk about second or third innings. I always thought that while sitting on the bench, I always believed I am taking a recourse to that. I played like a one-day match, and on a one-day match, there are no second innings. So Justice Oka and his ideas, they reflect a deep dedication to the Constitution and the people's values and people's service. And and Justice Gavai also said that I will also retire in November, and both of us have already decided we will not be accepting any post retirement assignment. Therefore, we can think of working together. So, liberty, regulation, governance, power, freedom of thoughts, expression, economic and social upliftment to society. And he will be remembered for his environmental causes that he stood for. Oka was a tireless workaholic, never seen ill prepared, and he will be remembered a judge who took stand when required. Forced to dance, subjected to inappropriate act, Bihar police rescues 17 minors from orchestras. Child labor, fundamental rights, citizens, role of police, role of public services, role of citizens, social upliftment, and also the kind of social dynamics which are there. And it is an example of exploitation against children, vulnerable section, very, very important. So more and more effort should be made in this direction. The man who invented the red carpet needed his head examined, because red carpet here, according to the the thought, it is a kind of a provocation. It is a kind of a one can say it is a kind of a high-handedness. It is a kind of an arrogance. It is a kind of an anarchy. It is a kind of value which is not really respected by the common person. When we speak about the vision for the Northeast, as we are saying, Narasimha Rao government put forward a lookist policy, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee government started that in 2001. Department of Northeast was established in 2001, and U.S. Secretary, then the U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton encouraged India to not just look east, but to engage and act east, and that is how it all started. Modi government went on to put more ideas into it, and it has created a number of bridges. So rising Northeast is a testimony. What is very important is that 5,484 kilometers of international border with the five neighbors, Tibet, China, proposed projects like India, Myanmar, Thailand Trilateral Highway, and Kaladan Multimodal Transit Transport Project, and the revival of Silwell Road. This will enhance the opportunities for the land-based trade between India and Southeast Asia. Similarly, Myanmar's Rakhine State and also Bangladesh can also play a positive role in spite of their political turmoil. They must see the bigger part, they must be the better part, they must also try to learn from India. As the region gets another major push for development, we can say IT, semiconductors, and other developments, including tourism, renewable energy, they are all going to help. And 62,000 megawatt of India's hydroelectric potential, of which only 6.9% is currently harnessed. Similarly, the region has an estimated solar power of potential of 57,360 megawatt, though only 17% of the capacity is installed. Investments in solar, wind, and small hydropower projects offer a huge opportunity. So that is what we can say. And most important facts are there. You must remember: one horn rhinos, Kaziranga Park, golf courses, tea gardens in Tejpur, Kamakhya Temple, Meghalaya, glaciers in Tawang, Gomti River meandering through Chobimura Hills of Tripura, and the country's second largest freshwater lake, Loktak Lake in Manipur. These are the key points which you must remember. Northeast is the gateway for trade with Southeast Asia. That is what Honorable Prime Minister Sir was also saying. And the ideas that I just said, they are supposed to be inculcated here. Again, it is about the Northeast. Some more facts we can pick up. Reliance Foundation's role, creation of jobs, and then what we can say is Adani Group, and how apart from these groups there are other institutions and other areas. For example, hydro pump storage, water transmission, roads, highways, digital infrastructure, logistics, capacity building through skilling and vocational training centers. That is very, very important. A medical oxygen access gap Southeast Asia must bridge. So the oxygen is life-saving and a very, very essential medicine with no substitute. Because of the complexity of the industrial production process, there are many challenges in the access to medical oxygen, such as availability, quality, affordability, management, supply, human resources capacity, and safety. Access to safe and affordable medical oxygen is very, very important, and this is very much required in whole Southeast Asia. For that, infrastructure must also be upgraded, and we have to strengthen the oxygen systems. In Corona time period, we have already done that, and she is the regional director of Southeast Asia, and She is daughter of Begum Khalida Zia. Begum, not Khalida Zia, I should say. She is daughter of Sheikh Hasina, who is in India. So it is having the role of Asian Development Bank also and other kind of Southeast Asian and South Asian bodies. But again, I would like to ask you, like WHO is talking about affordability of oxygen, then what other two, three areas you will pick up where a lot of infrastructure and lot of engagement is required as far as health, education, and medical facilities are concerned. Election Commission to provide mobile phone deposit facilities for voter offsite polling stations. This is again an example of how public services must become more empathy based and they must bring more logical and supportive ideas. Russia, Japan, UE stands with India on anti-terror policy. This is very important. Delegation led by JMK MP Kanni Mozi. She is in Russia. And what we can say is that this is a kind of a great diplomatic outreach. This is going to help us to not only create our stand, but also to be showcased as someone, a responsible power. Women and children returning home with pots full of water in Shankargarh outside of Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. सो नॉट ओनली ड्राउट लाइक कंडीशंस, इस फोटो को देखकर आप याद कर सकते हैं हर घर जल चाहिए, हर घर पानी की व्यवस्था होनी चाहिए, चाहे फिर वो पंचायत हो, चाहे फिर वो अर्बन एरियाज हो. नाउ दिस इज व्हाट इज वन ऑफ द रियलिटीज ऑफ इंडिया एंड वी मस्ट बी एबल टू ओवरकम दिस एज सुन एज पॉसिबल सो एज टू चेंज द लाइव्स. CBI charge-sheeted J&K ex-governor Malik's allegations and he is admitted in hospital in Delhi. He is saying that I can't even move about. But यहाँ पे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कीरू हाइडल करप्शन प्रोजेक्ट. तो कीरू हाइडल एंड JNK मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस के दीज आर द टू केसेस. कीरू हाइडल आपको कीरू हाइड्रोइलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट इन जम्मू's किश्तवाड़ डिस्ट्रिक्ट and it is to be done by Chenab Valley Power Projects Limited. So one has to see that what kind of involvement is there, what kind of result is there, then only this charge sheet is going to bring any kind of long-term solutions. Life on a distant planet, as data are diced, the signal get blurred. So you can say that in April, a team of astronomers announced they might have found sign of life on planet more than 120 light years from Earth, but ये ऐसा possible अभी तक हुआ है नहीं हुआ है, यही हमारे लिए बहुत क्यूरियस बात है. रिसर्चर्स हैव इंडिपेंडेंटली आइडेंटिफाइड डेटा आल्सो K218b, ये वर्ड आप याद रख सकते हैं प्रीलिम्स के लिए. और साथ में ये भी इम्पोर्टेंट बात समझने वाली है कि भाई हम उसके लिए कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हम पता लगा रहे हैं, हम देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये कोई दिस इज नॉट जस्ट लाइक a selfish based project, but it is a very, very important project and step for society and also for people around. That is why we can say that such kind of development must take place. As far as regulation of mining is concerned, India is moving progressively. India is having auctions. India globally developed जो nations हैं, they are thriving by leveraging their natural resources. इंडिया ने जबकि PSU को भी सपोर्ट किया है, इंडिया ने प्राइवेट सेक्टर को भी ओपन किया है. And India is having a great commitment. So private sector like Vedanta, they are also committing more than 70,000 crore to 80,000 crore in the Northeast to explore and develop these resources. 50,000 crore investment in hydrocarbons in Assam. लेकिन बात वही है कि एल्युमिनियम मेटल हो चाहे फिर वो कोई और इंस्ट्रूमेंट हो, कैसे इंडिया ग्रो कर पाएगा, कैसे इंडिया इस सारे के सारे इन्वेस्टमेंट को पॉजिटिवली इम्पैक्ट करके राइज कर पाएगा. दिस इज हाउ व्हाट यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट नॉर्थ ईस्ट, थिंक अबाउट बोथ बिलो द ग्राउंड एसेट्स एंड अबव द ग्राउंड एसेट्स, और इसका एक छोटा सा आप फ्लो चार्ट माइंड मैप बनाकर सबमिट कीजिए. इंपोर्ट फ्रॉम रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स, तो यहाँ पर कीवर्ड यही है कि रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स कौन से होते हैं. India's top EV makers have reached out to center and associated line ministries seeking necessary intervention for ensure continued supply of critical minerals like rare earth metals और rare earth elements like magnets from China. तो मैग्नेट्स वहां से कैसे क्या काम करते हैं और मैग्नेट्स कैसे यूज किए जाएंगे, ये दो बातें आपको ध्यान में रखनी होंगी. उससे आ भी जाएगा, उससे आ भी जाएगा और उससे हम प्रयोग में भी कर पाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि हम प्रयोग नहीं कर पाएंगे, प्रयोग करना भी उतना ही जरूरी है. So the point is that how DGFT is going to behave, how we are going to work in this direction, that is very important. Agnikul Cosmos fire its electric motor driven semi cryogenic engine. Agnikul Cosmos Friday announced the successful firing of its electric motor driven semi cryogenic engine, first of its kind in India. बस ये आपको देखना है. Electric motor driven throttling allows for higher accuracy, better response. So Nicole is on track for its largest stage 1 launch by the year end. Successful firing of electric motor powered engine is part of the roadmap. The use of electric motor makes it more efficient to pump fuels in the semi-cryogenic engine. With throttling, the startup will now be able to fire millions or multiple engines together as needed for the next stage. So this is how we have to see that science and technology actually playing a role in the people's lives. और आपको एक लिस्ट भी बनानी चाहिए पिछले 5 सालों में, 4 सालों में, 2 सालों में किस तरीके से सारे के सारे जो लॉन्चेस हुए, कौन से प्राइवेट सेक्टर और पब्लिक सेक्टर इंटरवेंशन के साथ हुए. Low over Arabian Sea idles, depression delayed. So that is how it is. Later, as latest assessment suggests the monsoon onset is the imminent in on along the familiar coastline of Kerala and Karnataka. So this time monsoon is little expected little early, and the low could likely benefit from the moisture being fed in from Arabian Sea and both Bay of Bengal. That is very, very important. In fact, there will be isolated heavy rainfall in many parts of Tamil Nadu and some other states, including Telangana, Puducherry, and so on. Traders calling for need negotiate duty concession to pepper. So again, a very, very important thing. We have to know how much India is, India is producing and what kind of import is there of pepper. And government must negotiate free trade agreement with Sri Lanka and South Asia and other ASEAN countries, fixing an MSP above the domestic price rate. Indian pepper must get access to the global markets and provide incentive must be provided for the high quality domestic production. That is very, very important, very, very important. Otherwise, we are not going to really get help out of it. Similarly, this is very important. Kochi is hosting a global marine ecosystem meet. Now, this is the fourth international symposium on marine ecosystem challenges and opportunities by ICAR, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute. That is very, very important. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu met Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and his idea, his vision is to create a grand and also sustainable city of Amravati, and he has already showcased his skill in the past when he went on to create IT hubs and also a great environment for IT firms in context of Andhra Pradesh. Undivided Andhra Pradesh is also very important, and he is also going to speak about the model for river linking across India. So what we have to see is that 3 points which you think that Chandrababu Naidu is practicing, and it is going to help not only Andhra Pradesh but also rest of India. Global cocoa prices, again, we must know from where the cocoa is coming up. Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and we have to understand that production outlook, it is being impacted because of global cocoa production. And also what we have to see in case of India, whether it is Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and also Kerala, they are very important. And Central Arecanut and Cocoa Marketing Produce and Processing Cooperative Limited, Camco, is very, very important role playing over here. So you have to see in context of spices and horticultural product, what kind of boards and institutions India is having and how they play an important role. Very important and a very learning point here we can see the woman plucking tea plantation at Sri Lanka, the city of Nuwara Ilaya in central province. And women workers are asking for wage rise. Similarly, is the case in India. And industry believes in profitability, and Sri Lanka's tea production is recovering from a slump after rising to a record 307 million kg in 2017. In 2024, it was 262 million kg, of which 245 million kg was exported. You see how much export is taking place from Sri Lanka in context of China, in context of tea. We must learn the best practices. And question here is also that if the tea came from China, then what is the level of or role of China and number of China in case of tea exports? Uttarakhand district share in GDP is very, very important in the state GDP. And similarly, we have to learn couple of keywords here which will be used in the mains. For example, concentrated prosperity, district domestic product data from several states. It is helping to understand that only few districts together are generating more than 70% of the gross state domestic product. 30%, remaining 10% states, districts are actually doing more, less than even 30%. So Karnataka display even a stark imbalance. Bengaluru alone 38%, while next higher contributor Dakshin Kannada merely 5.5%. Maharashtra 4 districts, Mumbai, Thane, Pune, Nagpur account for only more than 60%. Madhya Pradesh, a state with rated less skewed development. Indore contributes 6.7%, far above than the state average of 2 to 3% GDP per district. So impact of concentration is there, migration, infrastructure deficit, and destination cities creating, and the lagging behind is very, very important. Low productivity equilibrium. District collectors must look into it, and they must play a very important role. Have meetings and understanding with the other elected representatives and also policymakers. So the estimation may have a limited role to play, but then the district-led development must be there. Gross value addition must be there. Agriculture, manufacturing, and services must create a more a positive scenario, and integration of data into real-time dashboards will be enabling the policymaker, whether it is the smart city mission, whether it is other kind of MSMEs kind of development, or whether it is Gati Shakti, or whether it is other any kind of, I am saying, policy, whether it is human resource development and so forth. This is going to really help. So you create a kind of a database and also create a kind of an example, taking up one state, for example, UP, that how there can be a balanced development, how it is happening. Bundelkhand is, for example, a defense corridor is being created, or for example, in case of Lucknow, there is other kind of development. In case of Jewar and Noida, another kind of development is there. So that's how one has to see, and one has to write the answer in the mains examination. Now, this is all for today's discussion, and we will get back with the next discussion. You please finish all the given assignments and report back in a diligent manner so that success can become yours. Thank you very much.